Hello, 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 and welcome to Courageously Kind. I'm Maddie.
And I'm Liz. We're twin sisters and best friends.
Together, we share stories of especially kind humans doing especially kind things in hopes that these conversations motivate and inspire you to be kinder to yourself and others. When we're not speaking with an incredible guest, we'll speak directly from our hearts about what it means to us to be courageously kind. This week we are joined by the incredible Jessica Blotter, she was so wonderful and so generous with her time and energy. Huge thank you to Jessica. She is the founder of Kind Traveler, a company that is really rethinking the tourism industry. And I feel like they're the first of its kind that is really trying to positively impact communities in which people would travel to. Jessica will tell you all about it, but it really is such an amazing concept. It's so comprehensive. They have really, really thought this thing out, and their whole mission is to just, kindness, number one, like us, but also just to, really, really rethink the way that our tourism impacts communities and us as tourists too. This really was such an incredible conversation. Again, Jessica was so lovely, so wonderful, and so inspiring to us too. The way that she kind of built this business is so inspiring, and she'll tell you all about it, but she was wonderful, and we're so grateful to have had the opportunity to connect with her today. Without further ado, here is Jessica. We really just want to hear your story. How did you get into the travel industry? How did you sort of get to where you are today?
Yeah, well, happy to answer. Many years ago, I sort of took several transitions through my career. I started out as an earth science teacher, and that's really where I found my heart for sustainability. And after doing that for a few years, I joined a media startup, actually, and completely changed careers and jumped into a new field that I really loved, and started out in advertising and kind of worked my way up and became the associate publisher. Did that. And, while it was a rewarding experience, I was at some point along that journey, I really wanted to connect to the part of me that felt like it was connected to a higher purpose. And I started with, sustainability as a passion, and kind of had gotten away from that a little bit. And I was searching for a way to connect my purpose, passion, and skill set. And I didn't know exactly what that was going to look like, but I felt like I was very drawn to start volunteering. So I started doing a lot of volunteer work in animal rescue. And when I would volunteer on the weekends in Los Angeles, helping these homeless dogs and cats find homes, my heart would just feel completely full and connected. And my life really had so much more purpose. And around that same time, I followed my passion in the travel space. I actually went back to school. I started travel writing. I had a column with CBS Los Angeles eventually, and was writing for Fast Company and some other big outlets. And I was really on this quest to figure out how my passions of travel, sustainability, giving back, how they were all going to connect. And I had no idea how, but I just made that my intention. I knew that that's what I wanted. So I had an experience that changed the way that I thought about that. And it was when my partner and I went on a vacation to Belize. And when we were on that vacation, we saw a lot of poverty. We saw a lot of environmental despair, and we saw a lot of emaciated dogs roaming around, homeless dogs, which, in many developing countries, some of those things can be very common sights. But from the traveler perspective, you're often left with a feeling like, I want to help, but I don't know how. And I started asking myself, if my travel dollars were going back into that community in some type of responsible way, like how was my trip, if at all, helping or hurting the destination? Mm-hmm. And so we had an experience where we were on the bus heading to the Mayan ruins with other travelers. The bus stopped, and these dogs approached us, and they were just begging for food. And it seemed very simple. We decided to feed them. And unintentionally, there was a little convenience store that happened to sell dog food. I really couldn't believe it. But when we walked out of that store with the dog food, started feeding the dogs. And then we looked up and all the other travelers that were on the bus with us were walking out with the dog food. And I was like, oh, we inspired them. We didn't even mean to inspire them, but they took our lead. And there was this sort of this scene of more and more dogs coming out of the woodwork, feeding. And then we went on the bus and we knew, we hadn't changed the world that day, but it was like this very small act of kindness, if you will. That felt good. It felt like we did something. We didn't just ignore what we saw. We took a very small action.
Yeah.
And that feeling stayed with us for a very long time. And we just started to kind of think about, how we could essentially make it easy for travelers to give back in a meaningful way when they travel. And what would that look like if we were to build it? And so asking those questions and going on that journey gave us the idea for Kind Traveler. And that's kind of how the journey leading up to that point began.
I absolutely love that. I love that you were able to find like some sort of like small actionable way to make a difference, and then that chain reaction, like you said, that's so beautiful. And you know what you mentioned about like finding your purpose and looking for your purpose and wondering what that was. We had a really similar conversation with Megan Snedden from The Kind Effect.
Yeah.
And she said something really similar about how she found her passion and her purpose through serving others. And I think kindness can help us. And it's so interesting that it can do that. It can look really different for different people. You know what I mean? Some people like teaching. I think teaching is definitely, an act of kindness, that sort of thing. So it's really cool that you guys are doing something that I've never seen before, but it's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at giving back, and this could be a whole episode in itself, and maybe you've already talked about this in your past episodes, but it triggers a chemical response in your brain that triggers dopamine and other endorphins and actually makes you feel good. So whether it's giving financially or volunteering or just helping a neighbor, there's so many studies out there that talk to the fact that changes your psychology for the better. But I think when we're traveling, our hearts tend to be more open. We're looking for a trip perhaps that maybe fills up our hearts in a different way. And as travelers look to become more conscious and responsible and even more sustainable, perhaps, we're asking those questions of how can we create travel and trip and vacation experiences that not only, fill up our own hearts, but perhaps, leave a place better than before we arrived, or leave a regenerative impact of some type. So, giving back's in all parts of our lives, but travel there's a very unique thing that happens when we travel.
I never made that connection before, but that makes so much sense, right? If we're on a vacation, we're searching for something, or we're looking to get a new sort of perspective. It makes sense that we would be more open to that when we're traveling. That's really cool.
Yeah, no, I love it. And so we know that giving back is created that it increases trip satisfaction. And so that's the platform that we decided to create. And we went on a 4-year journey to building Kind Traveler before we were able to actually launch it to the public.
What was that like? How did you sort of like find the courage and the what do I want to say? Like stamina or like sustenance to build that for so long? That's a long time. Yeah.
Yeah. So when we had the idea for Kind Traveler, which is the world's first socially conscious give and get hotel booking and education platform that empowers travelers to give back to the communities that they visit. When we had that idea and we were asking how we were going to build that, my partner and we just started looking through a lens that we're just going to build it step by step, because we didn't have all the answers. We just had a really big vision, and we had an intention that we both knew 1000% that we wanted to dedicate our lives to this.
Yeah.
And I think that that's the difference. It wasn't just, oh, this one idea, like a hobby or a little thing off to the side. It was like, no, we want this to be our career path. We want to commit ourselves to this. We want to make this a movement and a life commitment.
Yeah.
So I think having all of those things aligned first and being very intentional about that was a key ingredient to be able to set forth on this journey. So, it was kind of a step by step. We found a web developer. We started building it. We started investing little chunks at a time until we found our first hotel partner. And then we found more hotel partners and more charities. And once we had about 20 hotel and charity partners, so sorry for the jingles in the background. That's my
it's all good. I love it. It's kind of joyful. It's like magical little sounds.
Little sounds. We said, okay, it's time to launch it. And we were ready. We launched the platform, and because it was the first of its kind and nobody had really ever done this before, created a way to actually give back to communities in exchange for receiving special offers from hotels. It was so unique that it landed like we had our own story in the New York Times, and we had stories in Travel and Leisure and sort of all the big travel magazines. But that sort of media and press launch really helped build credibility into our brand. And then we were able to go and get more partners and keep growing it. And of course, we've had our challenges along the way and pivots along the way. We've had several pivots, but in the very beginning, it was just about this dedication and intention that we had.
I love that. I feel like when you set that foundation, that's like,
yeah, solid.
Yeah. Liz and I tried to do that too. I think with Courageously Kind, we constantly like to check in and say, like, what are our intentions here? What make sure that our vision is, I guess, like good intentioned.
Yeah.
Would you say?
Sure. Yeah.
that your passions, your intentions, that your message is completely aligned, and because you're going to be eating, breathing, sleeping with, so and to be aligned on all of those levels is really important to create resiliency on your journey. Because I think if those things weren't aligned, I would have maybe given up, or it could have been very easy to have switched paths. Because it has been a long, hard road with any startup, with any entrepreneur who's going to go out and build their dream. It's not going to be easy.
Yeah.
So you have to have that resiliency and that mental health foundation built in.
Love that. That's so important. And I feel like we don't talk about that enough when we talk about, building our careers. Or I'm thinking, like, especially us in college, like, what are we going to do after college, and building that sort of thing. So that's super important to remember.
Yeah, the whole mental health balance could be a topic in itself for startups and for entrepreneurs. And doing lots of yoga has been one of my things that I start my day with every day. Prayer, meditation, yoga, and knowing when to rest, and knowing when to just be able to recognize that, like, if I'm challenged or I'm going through a rough patch, I know that if I just take some time off and come back to it, I'm going to be renewed and have a new perspective. And I always say I can tackle anything off a good night's sleep and a cup of coffee. Like I can like conquer anything.
I love it. So how does the Kind Traveler work? How does your website work? How can people get involved?
Yeah, absolutely. So our Give and Get booking platform, the way it works essentially is that travelers can unlock exclusive offers from our participating Kind hotels when they give a minimum of a $10 donation or more to a locally vetted charity that's in the community that they're visiting. And through that model, 100% of the donations go back to the charity. So that creates a triple win between the traveler, the charity, and the hotel.
Yeah.
But really it fulfills this need that, 97% of travelers want their travel dollars to positively impact the communities that they visit. However, there's a lot of confusion in the space. It can be, in fact, 50% of travelers find it confusing on how to make their dollars impact communities in the best way. Just traveling sustainably in general can be confusing. Now, giving back is, one of the ways to enhance sustainability. But of course, there's things like being conscious about your carbon footprint, eliminating food waste, choosing responsible activities that are kind to animals and the environment, and supporting local providers that are in the destination. So there's all sorts of things that you can do as a traveler, but giving back is a very regenerative act that can actually make a place or a community better in some way. And so what's really the special sauce of Kind Traveler and what we do is we will let the traveler know the exact impact of that $10 donation. So it's not like a mystery. Yeah. We want travelers to know, before they get in the car, the plane, the train, the exact type of impact that they are going to create. And $10 can do some pretty amazing things. And just to share a few examples of that, we have a new destination partner in California in Monterey County. It's a coastal destination along 99 miles of coast and about 2 hours south of San Francisco. And we've partnered with a wonderful organization there called the Rancho Cielo Youth Campus, who primarily serves disadvantaged youth, mostly Latinx, who have faced some type of barrier to success. They maybe didn't finish or complete traditional high school. So they have a whole vocational program there that puts these students through their youth campus. And then they can, get all the empowerment and all the life skills that they need to go out and, live their dreams. And so when you donate $10 to them, it will actually cover a third of their day of education for one student.
Wow.
So like exactly what that's going to do.
That's amazing. I absolutely love that. It's not just like, I feel like sometimes when you donate to a charity, you're like, where is it really going? What is it really doing? I know I'm making a difference, but yeah, by listing that so clearly, I think that makes such sense.
And then the other thing that we'll let you know is that sometimes, most of the time, the nonprofits we partner with will offer really unique experiences and activities that you can actually go and have a unique experience with. So with this particular organization, the Rancho Cielo Youth Campus, you can actually go visit the campus. They have a restaurant on campus, and all of the students that are training to be chefs are working there. And so just by dining there, you can be supporting these students at the campus just by having a simple meal.
Oh my goodness. I love that. That's so awesome.
Yeah. So we'll, we want people to get involved. And so I think that's really the special sauce of what we do is, aligning these local nonprofits and letting you know the exact impact. But then you also learn about what makes the hotel kind. And so we look through that lens of how is a hotel advancing individual wellness, environmental sustainability, and community impact. So those are the three things. And then the hotels will answer a pretty extensive questionnaire in the onboarding process, and we communicate this very specific things, and obviously are looking for partners that have sustainability policies and who are really actively trying to grow their kindness. And so, those are the things that you'll learn about from each hotel as well on the platform. And then, other things, of course, we have lots of great educational content. We've done our own research studies, which we've published on our blog. And we really just want to inspire and educate and empower travelers to become part of sustainable travel and regenerative travel movement.
I love it. I love it so much.
So cool. And that's what I love about your platform, is that you offer so much.
Yeah.
You also share stories. Do you have any favorite stories about traveling? I know you talked a little bit about your own personal experience.
Yeah, of course. One story that I love is well, I guess there's a couple. Like I said, like last year, we did our first ever research study where we interviewed about 70 of our nonprofit and hotel partners and destination partners, and published this free downloadable book on impact tourism. And we've never done anything like that before. So, it's more of a study than a story, but it's still a story. And I think it was just hugely gratifying to be able to put the insights and thoughts all into this one condensed downloadable booklet, which I can share the link with you too after the call. But then another more of a story of that I really love is we had somebody that went to Hawaii and wrote about her story of staying in one of our hotels, which was the Equus Hotel. And she actually went and like visited the nonprofit, which is the Sustainable Tourism Association of Hawaii, and had this really unique regenerative experience. And the name of the story is called My Regenerative Journey in Oahu. And you can like read about, how giving back made her feel and why that was so important, like on her particular journey. And she gets very vulnerable in her story of why that mattered so much to her. But I think, stories like that. I love hearing about people's personal journey and giving back when they travel. It's so because everyone's going to have their own take and feeling and something that they get that's unique out of those experiences.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We'll be sure to link that story in the description of this.
Oh, good. Yeah, I'll send you both of those links.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. Awesome. Sure. I love how comprehensive it feels. You know what I mean? It feels like you're really thinking about the communities, like you said, and sustainability and the individual person. I feel like you said, it's a triple win. Like nobody's having a bad time. Like everybody is thought of, everybody wins. And it's just so amazing. It seems so thoughtful.
Thank you. I mean, we have something, on our website that we look at that we say shapes everything that we do at Kind Travel, and we call it our lens of kindness. And our lens of kindness has 4 pillars in it, and so those 4 pillars are individual wellness, community impact, environmental sustainability, and animal welfare. And if we look through a lens of kindness, when we look at all of those levels, we can create a holistic view of how we can shape our personal, but also our travel experiences to be one of kindness. And so, but we have to look at all of those things. It's not okay to be kind to the environment and then be horrible to ourselves through negative self-talk or something, so we have to like look at they're all interconnected. Yeah. It's all interconnected. And so we have to like adopt that holistic perspective when we make decisions and everyday decisions, and be conscious of how we spend our travel dollars to make sure they are optimized for not just local communities, but the greater good as a whole.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you guys are really revolutionizing kindness. Like it just, I think, and we talked about this with Megan too. Like when you think about kindness, you think person to person, right? Saying something kind, doing something kind, or like self. I think self-kindness is becoming more and more popular, but I love that you are really emphasizing kindness in all aspects of the word, kindness to our planet, kindness to everything on this planet. And it's just really special.
Yeah, it's just a holistic view that we have to have if we're really going to move kindness forward. It's just not okay to like choose one and be kind and then just not be kind and have total disregard, to something else. So, I mean, I think that's, we're really inspired by that vision. And I feel like there's an endless need of work that needs to be done. I mean, let's face it, we're facing a climate crisis. We have biodiversity loss. We have 1 million species currently facing extinction. Tourism destinations are challenged by things like over tourism. There's so many challenges in the industry. And travel is can be a huge, economic benefit to any community. But imagine if all of those travel decisions were made up of experiences and lodging choices, travel choices in general that were supporting communities, supporting the environment, supporting ourselves, like how much more valuable the travel industry would be. You know, it was valued as a $1.3 trillion industry
Wow.
last year. So it has, you know, it can be a major influence, an economic influence in communities if it's harnessed responsibly. It can also hurt communities on the other side of it. Plastic pollution, over tourism. There's lots of, you know, horrible things happening out there with people taking wildlife selfies, which is a big travel no. I see a lot of international travel in places that are harnessing animals in illegal ways, illegal circuses, things where there's usually a lot of suffering that's going on behind the scenes. So as an industry, we need to, you know, be looking at all of the aspects of how we might be helping or hurting the places that we visit.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah,
so important. You guys are doing such important stuff.
Yeah,
Thank you for doing it.
And so are you. And so are you. I absolutely love what you two are doing. I'm so inspired by you both. And if this is the new generation that is, you know, coming up here and having roles in our planet, like I'm so excited about that.
Well,
You're
you know,
so
we're so
young in your
inspired by you.
journey. You're like, you have like, but you've already done so many wonderful things. Like I'm so excited for your future, truly.
You're so kind.
You are so
Thank
kind.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. If people want to book a trip, if they want to get involved with the Kind Traveler, if they have a hotel and they want to get involved, or a charity and they want to how can people support the amazing work that you're doing? Can people make just donations? Tell us how people can get involved.
Yeah, sure. I mean, just go ahead and visit kindtraveler.com. That's where you're going to be able to book a hotel, give back. If you want to get on our newsletter, we have a weekly newsletter I'd encourage you to sign up for. We do anytime there's a brand new destination or brand new hotel or brand new impact opportunity, you're going to learn about it there first. We also do some really fun giveaways with our hotels. So we have a giveaway right now in California with Allegretto Vineyard Resort on the Central Coast. So yeah, I mean, there's lots of things to look out for. But you can also get involved by following us on our social channels, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Those are some of our core channels, but we're also on Twitter and YouTube as well. So I would just encourage you to connect on social media, get on our newsletter. And if you have a very specific question or want to just reach out to me personally, you can reach me at hello@kindtraveler.com.
Awesome.
Awesomeness.
So cool.
That is so cool. One of these days, I put it on the bucket list. We're going to do a Kind traveling experience. It's going to be on the list. I don't know about 2023, but for sure soon. That would be awesome. Thank you so much.
We would love to have you kind traveling with us. So let us know when you're ready.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank
so
you for
much.
what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like kindness and traveling, I think, is never something that would clearly cross my mind, but because of you guys, it seems so possible and so actionable, and that's really awesome. So
thank you so much, and thank you for what you're doing as well. Like I love that you're empowering others to become courageously kind. That could not be more important. So thank you.
It's our pleasure.
Yeah.
This was awesome. Is there anything else that you think that you would want our listeners to know about the Kind Traveler, about kindness in general?
I mean, we have over this next month, we have so many new destinations that are launching that we've been working on for the last year. So I'm just so excited. We have Santa Monica, new partners in Sonoma County. We have Greater Palm Springs. We have Oakland, mostly all California driven, but we also have a sprinkling of international destinations. We have like 10 of the Red Carnation hotel groups and or 10 of their hotels, which are in like Ireland and England and South Africa and even Botswana. And so they're going to be coming online here soon. But I would say just like, yeah, get on our newsletter. We got a lot of new destinations and impact opportunities launching. So we're excited.
What a incredible concept. One of the things that I love about Courageously Kind is that there are so many different ways that we can live courageously kind lives. And to be honest, I never thought that traveling or taking a vacation would be one of them. But kindness doesn't take a vacation. We need to be kind 100% of the time. And I really think the Kind Traveler is making sure that we do that. We want to thank Jessica once again for her time and for her incredible concept that is now a reality, that you could travel the world and be kind while doing it. We hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Check out the links in our description for anything that we talked about that you might want more information on. And we will see you back here real soon. We'd like to give a huge thank you to Animals Landscape Contracting for their support of Courageously Kind.
Anawaltz is a family-owned landscape contracting company in Berks County that has served Pennsylvania for over 35 years.
If you're ready to get your landscaping project started, visit animallandscape.com or call 610-916-7070.
Anawaltz Landscape Contracting, beautifying Pennsylvania 1 yard at a time.
Thank you so much for listening. If you like this episode, feel free to share it with your friends, your family, or anyone you think might like it too.
And if you want to support the show, leave us a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. It really does help. Or check out our merch store at courageouslykind.org. Take good care, and we'll see you back here real soon.